Perfect. Let's do it. Let's do it. እሺ ሃይ ሁላችሁም እንዴት ናችሁ? ይሄ የዴቨሎፐር አሶሺየት ኤግዛም ፕሬፕ ነው። እንግዲህ በአንድ ወር ለመዘጋጀትና ኤግዛሙን ለመውሰድ በዚህ ቪዲዮ እናንተ ምን ሲዘጋጅ ሼር ለማድረግ ነው እዚህ ጋር ያለሁት። I hope ይጠቅማችኋል ብዬ አስባለሁ። Alright, let's do this. So we don't need cloud quest. ቀጥታ የምንሄደው እዚህኛው ጋር ነው። ሙሉውን ላድርግላችሁ። ኦኬ ሶ ይሄንን ነው የምንሰራው ማለት ነው። ኤግዛም ፕሬፕ ፕላን AWS Cloud Developer Associate ከ9 ወር ክላውድ ዴቨሎፐር ፕሮግራም በኋላ መውሰድ የሚቻል ቫውቸር ያለው ፕሮግራም ነው ወይም ኤግዛም ነው። እስቲ ፕላኑን ሙሉውን እንመልከተው። ወደ 19 የሚሆኑ ፓርቶች አሉት ነው የሚለው። እስቲ ኮርሱ ትሬኒንግ እንበል ሙሉውን እንመልከተው። Okay, let's see. Exam prep plan overview, AWS Certified Developer Associate, DVACO to English, introduction, intended audience, 4 steps plan overview. 4 step plan. Step 1, get to know the exam with exam style questions. መጀመሪያ ኤግዛሙን እናያለን ማለት ነው። ኤግዛሙ ምን ይመስላል የሚለውን እናያለን። Then step 2, refresh your AWS knowledge and skills. Okay, and then 3, review and practice your exam, and 4, assess your exam readiness. So መጀመሪያ ኤግዛም ይሰጠናል። ከዛ በኋላ subject matterun knowledge and skill እንዲኖረን እንማረዋለን ወይም እናየዋለን። In my case, it's already ተምሬዋለሁ ግን I still have to learn the concept briefly so I can remember. And then review and practice for your exam. ከዛ በኋላ knowledge and skill ካገኘን በኋላ ሪቪው እናደርጋለን፣ ለኤግዛማችን እንዘጋጃለን። ከዛ በኋላ ኤግዛም በመውሰድ ኤግዛም ሬዲነሳችንን እናያለን። Let's go. Feedback, it's okay so far. Okay, I wanna just give it 5 star, but that's fine. And then achievement, certificate of completion. Once you complete the training, you can view and download your PDF certificate of completion. Okay, let's click start learning. Okay, start learning. Exam prep plan overview, AWS Certified Developer Associate. Okay, how to use this course navigation. The following are 3 useful tips on navigating the lessons and searching the content on this digital course. Okay, number one is this one, searching content. To search for keywords in this course, select the magnifying glass icon, this one. Okay, 2, to this one, ይሄንን ነው ማለት ነው። ኮርስ ውስጥ ያለውን ነገር ለመፈለግ anything ብንፈልግ እዚህ ውስጥ ለምሳሌ let's see develop የሚለውን ብንመለከት እዚህ ውስጥ አለ ማለት ነው። እነዚህ ውስጥ አለ ማለት ነው። exactly developer role. okay ያለ ማለት ነው። let's go back. so በቀላሉ ኪወርድሶችን በመጠቀም እዛች ጋር ሰርች አድርገን እናገኛለን። ከዛ next ምንድነው? Number 2, completing lessons. As you complete each lesson, a check mark appears next to the lesson name, which is እዚህ ጋር ማለት ነው። የቱ ጋር? yeah, this check mark እዚህ ጋር የሚታየው ኮርሱ ማለቁን ወይም ያቺኛው ፓርት ማለቋን የሚያመለክተን ነው ማለት ነው። ቼክ ማርክ ከሌለው ስለሚመልሰን በኋላ ኮምፕሊት ስለማይለን ቼክ ማርክ መኖሩን እያረጋገጥን ነው የምንሄደው። If the check mark does not appear, verify that you have watched all videos, answered all questions, and engaged with all activities within the lesson. Let's do it. Number 3. This is number 3. Navigating to the previous lesson. To navigate to the next lesson, select the lesson divider at the bottom of each page. To navigate to the previous lesson, select the lesson divider at the top of each page. So ወደ ታች ለመሄድ ለምሳሌ ይህን ኮንቲኒው እንላለን ግን ኦኬ ይሄኛው ለምሳሌ ወደ ያለፍነውን ኮርስ ወይም ያለፍነው ፔጅ የምናይበት ነው ዲቫይደሩ። ከዛ ወደ ታች ደግሞ ይሄኛው ነው ማለት ነው። ይሄኛው ቀጥሎ ያለውን የሚያሳየን ነው ማለት ነው። ኦኬ we already did 1 for searching keywords, 2 to make sure it is complete. We have to make sure it is complete so it can let us go to the next level. And 3, divider. We could go up or down. Up here or down where? Here. Let's go down now. Lesson 2. Intended audience. This learning plan is intended for individuals who meet the following conditions: perform a developer role, have 1 or more years of hands-on experience in developing and maintaining applications by using AWS services. In that case, ከትምህርቱ ጋር አንድ ላይ ACI ወይም AWS Cloud Institute 9 months program plus exam prep time, that would be about a year now. ፕሮግራሙ full time ከወሰዳችሁት 9 ወር ነው። ፓርት ታይም ከወሰዳችሁት 1 ኮርስ or 2 ኮርስ ደግሞ 1 ዓመት ወይም 12 ወር ነው። ያም እንደ hands on experience ይቆጠራል። why? Because you have to do multiple labs in the course material. Okay, so if you have 1 or more years of hands-on experience in developing and maintaining applications by using AWS services. And number 3, if you are preparing for the AWS Certified Developer Associate Exam, we qualify also, so we can go ahead. If not this one, we qualify 2 and 3. If you have been studied, if you have been a student, and then if you are preparing for the exam, then this is for us. If you do not have the experience outlined above, consider starting the developer learning plan, which I already did. Okay, but it doesn't hurt. 4-step plan overview from start to certified. Prepare for your exam with confidence by following this 4-step plan. At the end of this course, you will be able to implement the 4-step exam prep plan to structure your AWS certification exam preparation. Step 1, get to know the exam with exam style questions. Review the exam guide. Take the AWS certification official practice question set to understand exam style questions. Step 2, refresh your AWS knowledge and skills. Enroll in digital courses where you need to fill gaps in knowledge and skills. Practice with AWS Builder Labs, AWS Cloud Quest, or AWS Jam. Step 3, review and practice for your exam. Explore each domain's topics and how they align to AWS services. Reinforce your knowledge and identify learning gaps with exam style questions and flashcards. Learn test-taking strategies. Continue practicing with AWS Builder Labs or AWS Simulearn. Number 4 or step 4 is assess your exam readiness. Assess your exam readiness. Take the AWS certification official practice exam. Okay, the exam prep, we already went through that. The exam prep plan includes courses and resources for each step in the 4-step plan. However, courses in step 2 are not required to complete this exam prep plan. እንግዲህ ሪፍሬሽ ለማድረግ ናውሌጅ እና ስኪል ኮርሶቹ ምን ያህል እንደሆኑ እናያለን። ቢውልደር ላብ፣ ክላውድ ኩዌስት፣ ጃም ላይ ያሉልን ተቻለ መጠን ሁሉንም እናያለን። በመጀመሪያው ሙከራ ለማለፍ ፈተናውን የተቀመጡትን ሪሶርሶች ሁሉ ማየት እንሞክራለን። ግን as much as possible time wise ወይም time limitation ስለሚኖረን we will try to go with the best available option. Okay, continue. Get to know the exam with exam style questions. Time commitment up to 3 hours. We recommend covering this material in weeks 1 to 2 to provide time to review the exam topics and to identify gaps in knowledge that might require further study. የመጀመሪያውና ሁለተኛው ሳምንት ላይ ኤግዛሙ ምን ይመስላል የሚለውን ለማየት ጊዜ መስጠት ያስፈልጋል። ኤግዛሙ ምን ይመስላል የሚለውን ካየን በኋላ ኤግዛሙ ውስጥ ያሉትን ቶፒኮች ሪቪው ለማድረግ ጊዜ ይሰጠናል ማለት ነው። ቀድመን እሱን ስናይ ምን አይነት ኤግዛም ነው የሚመጣው የሚለውን ስናይ ዶሜኖቹን ወይም ክላሲፊኬሽኖችን ስናይ በዛ መሰረት እንድንዘጋጅ ያደርጋል ማለት ነው። እዛ ጋፓችንንም እናያለን። ይሄኛውን አውቄዋለሁ ይሄኛውን አላወኩም የሚለውንም እናየዋለን። ሞር ስተዲ የሚያስፈልገውን ኤሪያ። Okay, review the exam details page, review the exam guide, take the AWS Certified Developer Associate official practice question set to understand exam style question. Let's check the exam details page. Okay. Okay. AWS Certified Developer Associate validate technical proficiency in developing, testing, deploying, and debugging AWS cloud-based applications. እዚህ ጋር schedule an exam ይላል። Let's see, at least until the middle of December, let's study. Depending on how much we are ready, we can schedule. But for now, let's see the exam type. AWS Certified Developer Associate showcases skill. Okay, what we can do is we're gonna go ahead and ask AI to read for us right now. Read aloud. There you go.
AWS Certified Developer Associate. Validate technical proficiency in developing, testing, deploying, and debugging AWS cloud-based applications. Schedule an exam. AWS Certified Developer Associate.
Go ahead.
Exam overview.
Wait, and remember.
AWS Certified Developer Associate showcases skills and knowledge in developing, optimizing, packaging, and deploying applications using CI/CD workflows and identifying and resolving application issues. This certification is a good starting point on the AWS certification journey for individuals in IT or cloud developer job roles. Exam overview. AWS Certified Developer Associate. Associate. Exam duration. 130 minutes. Exam format. 65 questions, either multiple choice or multiple response. Cost. $150. Visit exam pricing for additional cost information, including foreign exchange rates. Testing options.
Okay, let me do show more testing options. Okay. Go from start to certified. Follow our exam prep plan on AWS skillbuilder.
From start to certified. Follow our exam prep plan on AWS skillbuilder, our online learning center, so you can approach exam day with confidence. 1. Get to know the exam with exam-style questions. Follow the 4-step plan. Review the exam guide. This exam uses short names of some AWS services. A list of short names and corresponding full names will be available through the Help button in the exam. You can familiarize yourself with the list of service names before your exam. This change takes effect in 2025 on a rolling basis for the Japanese, Korean, simplified Chinese, Spanish, Latin America, and Portuguese, Brazil versions. Take the AWS certification official practice question set to understand exam style questions. 2. Refresh your AWS knowledge and skills.
Yeah.
Enroll in digital courses where you need to fill gaps in knowledge and skills. Practice with AWS Builder Labs, AWS Cloud Quest, and AWS Jam. 3. Review and practice for your exam. Review the scope of the exam. Explore each exam domain's topics and how they align to AWS services. Reinforce your knowledge and identify learning gaps with exam-style questions and flashcards. Follow instructors as they walk through exam-style questions and provide test-taking strategies. Continue practicing with AWS Builder Labs and or AWS Simullearn. 4. Assess your exam readiness. Take the AWS Certification Official Practice Exam. Key FAQs to help you get started. Who should take this exam? Per the exam guide, 1 or more years of prior hands-on experience is recommended in developing and maintaining.
Live. Live, no? ብዙም አይገባም። Yeah. That's funny. Okay. Okay, let's continue. Exam ጨርሰህ መሄድ ነው ከኔ ጋር ማራናታ።
ቸርች እሄዳለሁ። አንቺን ደግሞ
እንድትጠበቀ ነው ቸርች እንሄዳለን። I will, but I don't. I did, but I don't know. አይሰማም? Okay. Let's continue. Estimate ካረኩ በኋላ
ቸርች እሄዳለሁ። አንቺን ደግሞ ምን ላይ ነው ሪኮርድ የሚያደርገው? ቮይስም ክሊክ አድርገሽ ምኑ ነው የሚውት ሪኮርድ
ይሄ ነው ይሄኛው ስትሪም ያደርጋል ዳይሬክት ማለት ነው። ሪኮርድ እያደረገ
ፕራክቲስ ለማድረግ ሆነ አድርገሽ
ስትሪም ወደ ቻናሉ ስትሪም ያደርገው ወደዚህኛው ወደ ህይወት ክላውድ ሶሉሽን
ፕራክቲስ ታደርጊያለሽ።
ያ ከዛ ራሴ ሰማዋለሁ ፕለስ ሼር ሳደርገው እንደዚህ ሼር ሳደርገው ሲሪየስ ሆኜ እንደሚያስተምር ሰው ሼር ስለማደርገው ሞር ለኔ ጥሩ ነው።
Per the exam guide, 1 or more years of prior hands-on experience is recommended in developing and maintaining applications by using AWS services. This certification is an ideal starting point on the AWS certification journey for individuals in IT or cloud developer job roles.
Okay, so more tools, read aloud. Immersive leader, Let's see. Hmm. Sorry guys, so I'm gonna go back. Okay, siga basic nagarun kawagan.
Validate technical proficiency in developing, testing, deploying, and debugging AWS cloud-based applications.
Okay, go ahead.
Per the exam guide, 1 or more years of prior hands-on experience is recommended in developing and maintaining. Candidates who do not have any IT work experience would benefit from first earning the AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner to get foundational knowledge of AWS Cloud and Services before attempting the AWS Certified Developer Associate Exam.
Okay, let's keep going. How will the AWS Certified Developer Associate help my career? Certified individuals report increased confidence as a result of earning this industry recognized certification and increased credibility with technical IT or cloud colleagues and customers. Preparing for an earning AWS Certified Developer Associate can get you off AWS certifications in the professional and specialty categories. Okay, what certification should I earn next after AWS Certified Developer Associate? The AWS Certified SysOps Administrator Associate and AWS DevOps Engineer Professional are certifications that other cloud professionals have earned to advance further into roles like Cloud DevOps Engineer and Software Development Engineer. Cloud professionals have also earned the AWS Certified Data Engineer Associate to advance toward roles like Machine Learning Engineer. View AWS certification paths to learn more and plan your AWS certification journey. How long is this certification valid for? This certification is valid for 3 years. Before your certification expires, you can recertify by passing the latest version of this exam. Excuse me, or by earning the AWS Certified DevOps Engineer Professional, which will automatically recertify this associate level certification. Are there any savings on exams if I already hold an active AWS certification? Yes. Once you earn one AWS certification, you get 50% discount on your next AWS certification exam. You can sign in and access this discount in your AWS certification account. AWS serverless demonstrated. Micro-credentials complement AWS certifications by demonstrating your practical implementation abilities. Prove your ability to build and troubleshoot serverless application and real-world scenarios. Okay, we won't go deep into this, so we will go out of here, and then that means exam detail page aytanal ማለት ነው. Exam guide. Where is the exam guide? We're gonna find the exam guide. Review resources listed. Okay, 2 to 3 weeks, 2 to 3. Refresh your AWS knowledge and skill. To refresh your knowledge and skills, do the following. Review the resources listed. Take the recommended AWS skill builder digital courses if you feel you need to refresh your AWS knowledge and skills. Take as many courses as you need. These courses are also included at the end of the courses. in the outline tab for this exam prep plan, but are not required to complete. White papers. Okay, wow. We're gonna read all those. Let's see. Mani maslahatsti. ሁሉንም ወደ ቻት ጂፒቲ ልካቸውና ከሱ ላይ ነው እንግዲህ Okay, I hope እነዚህ ሁሉ all of this exist in the knowledge and skill review. Step 3, review and practice for your exam, 8 or more hours. We recommend covering this material in weeks 3 to 7. Simple way to approach the content in this step is to focus on 1 to 2 domains each week. Wow, okay. It's gonna take more than a month. For each domain, we recommend the following steps. Take the corresponding domain review course. Explore topics and how they align to AWS services and to specify areas of study. 2. Take the corresponding domain practice course. Reinforce your knowledge and identify learning gaps with exam-style questions and flashcards. Complete AWS Builder Labs and AWS Simul-Learn challenges for additional practice when available. Review the additional resources provided at the end of each exam domain, optional. For a different approach to preparing for the exam, check out a future AWS Power Hour series on AWS Certified Developer or virtual and AWS Power Hour exam prep. The lessons will overlap with the videos in the exam prep course. Let me see. What is it? Twitch, is it the one in Twitch? I know they have like series of exam prep. Oh, we can watch it on LinkedIn or okay, let's see. Let's just do LinkedIn. How do they do it on LinkedIn? Oh, they have a website here, huh? 1 million followers. Oh my goodness. Okay. So now we can disregard that for now. We'll just follow the steps. Yeah, let's just follow the actual steps, which is over here. Just gonna remove this. Okay, continue. Assess your exam readiness, 3 to 4 hours. We recommend covering this material weeks 7 to 8. Take to simulate the actual exam. You can take the pre-test timed. This is the default setting. I'm gonna let AI read for me if they can. Let me see if they can access it. Okay, review your score report thoroughly, review the questions and the linked documentation provided for correct and incorrect answer in each question. Go back to the resources in step 2 if needed. Okay, let's go. That's it, I think. Here.
To contact the trainer.
Come on, I don't want to contact right now.
Faster support resolution. For inquiry type, choose training. For additional details, choose AWS.
We're done with the first step, which is this guy exam pre-plan overview ጨረስን ማለት ነው። ከዛ ምንድነው አሁን ያየነው? መጀመሪያ ጥያቄ ይሰጠናል። ከዛ በኋላ ትምህርቱን ያስተምረናል። ከዛ በኋላ assess your exam readiness መሰለኝ። So let's see. I'm doing it from scratch, so don't forget to take notes, you know. To different text from a friend, okay? Wait a moment. Okay guys, sorry about that. Just had to respond to a text because you're watching live or connecting afterwards. We are back. So let's see. Why is it showing me 19? see. Okay, we already did that. December 2. We finished this part, like the overview part. What certificate of completion? Did I complete exam prep plan overview? Oh no, come on. They gave me this. I just did the overview, guys. Don't celebrate too soon. Okay, now let's go. Return to beginning. Yeah, return to learning plan here. You can go to the learning plan. That's complete. And then let's see. 2. This is official practice question set, AWS Certified Developer Associate. And then exam prep overview. This is exam prep, domain 1 review, domain 1 practice, domain 1 practice, domain 2 review, domain 2 practice, domain 2 practice. Wow. Domain 3, domain 3, domain 4, domain 4, domain 4, and then official practice. Exam prep summary. Wow. So we have this. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Okay, it's just telling us ምን ያህል ኮርሶች ወይም የሚሰሩ ስራዎች እንዳሉ ነው። አሁን ኤግዛሙን እንውሰድ። The official practice question set consists of 20 questions. This question set aligns with the VA CO2 version of the exam and exam guide. If you're looking for an assessment that is the same length as the AWS certification exam, enroll in the official pre-test or official practice exam in the exam prep plan. That's very last one. Official exam prep plan here መጨረሻው መሰለኝ. So it's the last one. Official practice exam. So this one, I believe. Official practice question test, exam prep overview. Wait a minute. Yeah, where is it? Should be here. Exam prep summary. No, it's right here. Official practice exam. So this is the one, 65 questions. Okay, so that's gonna be at the end. This one is just 20 questions. So official practice question sets feature 20 questions developed by AWS to demonstrate the style of certification exam questions. Each question includes detailed feedback for answer choices, including recommended resources to deepen your understanding of key topics. You can take the question set multiple times. Each time will include the same question in a different order. Come on, the same question in a different order. That way I know the answer, okay? This course is part of 4 steps that you can use to prepare for your exam with confidence. To follow the 4 steps, enroll in the exam prep plan, AWS Certified Developer Associate. That's what I did. Some of this content might require, oh no, AWS skillbuilder subscription. Come on. Don't make me subscribe now. $30. Okay, so let's do this. Official practice question set. Start. እዚህ ጋር አንድ ሚስ ያደረግነው ነገር ያለ የሚመስለኝ ኤግዛም ጋይድ አለ ዶሜኑ ምናምን የሚነግረን የት ነው ያለው እሱ exam guide, exam details. Where is exam guide እዚህ ውስጥ ነው ያለው። ይኸውና ኤግዛም ጋይዱ። ይሄንንም ቅድም ረስተናል። እነዚህ ሰርቪሶች ያስፈልጉናል ማለት ነው። ሰው ከባክግራውንድ ያንብብልን ያ AWS Developer Associate Exam Prep. We are creating this project. Read through this. Their meaning and use. እስኪዘጋጅልን እንሂድ። እስካደረግን ዘንድ list of service names, review of the exam guide of there. ይህንም ማንበብ እንችላለን፣ ማስነበብ እንችላለን።
AWS Certified Developer Associate, DVAC02, Exam Guide. Introduction. The AWS Certified Developer Associate, DVAC02, exam is intended for individuals who perform a developer role. The exam validates a candidate's ability to demonstrate proficiency in developing, testing, deploying, and debugging AWS cloud-based applications. The exam also validates a candidate's ability to complete the following tasks. Develop and optimize applications on AWS package and deploy by using continuous integration and continuous delivery, CI/CD, workflows, secure application code and data, identify and resolve application issues. Target candidate description. The target candidate should have 1 or more years of hands-on experience in developing and maintaining applications by using AWS services. Recommended general IT knowledge. The target candidate should have the following general IT knowledge. Proficiency in at least one high-level programming language, understanding of application lifecycle management, basic understanding of cloud-focused applications to write code, ability to develop functional applications, experience in using development tools. Recommended AWS knowledge. The target candidate should be able to complete the following tasks. Develop and secure applications by using AWS Service APIs, the AWS Command Line Interface, AWS CLI, and SDKs. Use a CI/CD pipeline to deploy applications on AWS. Job tasks that are out of scope for the target candidate. The following list contains job tasks that the target candidate is not expected to be able to perform. This list is non-exhaustive. These tasks are out of scope for the exam. Design architectures, for example, distributed systems, microservices, database schemas and modeling. Design and create CI/CD pipelines, administer IAM users and groups, administer servers and operating systems. Design AWS networking infrastructure, for example, Amazon Virtual Private Cloud, Amazon VPC, AWS Direct Connect. Refer to the appendix for a list of technologies and concepts that might appear on the exam, a list of in-scope AWS services and features, and a list of out-of-scope AWS services and features. Exam content. Response types. There are 2 types of questions on the exam. Multiple choice has 1 correct response and 3 incorrect responses. Distractors, multiple response, has 2 or more correct responses out of 5 or more response options. Select 1 or more responses that best complete the statement or answer the question. Distractors, or incorrect answers, are response options that a candidate with incomplete knowledge or skill might choose. Distractors are generally plausible responses that match the content area. Unanswered questions are scored as incorrect. There is no penalty for guessing. The exam includes 50 questions that affect your score. Unscored content. The exam includes 15 unscored questions that do not affect your score. AWS collects information about performance on these unscored questions to evaluate these. Questions for future use as scored questions. These unscored questions are not identified on the exam. Exam results. The AWS Certified Developer Associate, DVAC02, exam has a pass or fail designation. The exam is scored against a minimum standard established by AWS professionals who follow certification industry best practices and guidelines. Your results for the exam are reported as a scaled score of 100 to 1000. The minimum passing score is 720. Your score shows how you performed on the exam as a whole and whether you passed. Scaled scoring models help equate scores across multiple exam forms that might have slightly different difficulty levels. Your score report could contain a table of classifications of your performance at each section level. The exam uses a compensatory scoring model, which means that you do not need to achieve a passing score in each section. You need to pass only the overall exam. Each section of the exam has a specific weighting, so some sections have more questions than other sections have. The table of classifications contains general information that highlights your strengths and weaknesses. Use caution when you interpret section-level feedback. Content outline. This exam guide includes weightings, content domains, and tasks for the exam. This guide does not provide a comprehensive list of the content on the exam. However, additional context for each task is available to help you prepare for the exam. The exam has the following content domains and weightings. Content Domain 1, Development with AWS Services, 32% of scored content. Content Domain 2, Security, 26% of scored content. Content Domain 3, Deployment, 24% of scored content. Content Domain 4, Troubleshooting and Optimization, 18% of scored content. Content Domain 1, Development with AWS Services. Task 1, Develop code for applications hosted on AWS. Knowledge of architectural patterns, for example, event-driven, microservices, monolithic, choreography, orchestration, fan-out. Idempotency differences between stateful and stateless concepts, differences between tightly coupled and loosely coupled components, fault-tolerant design patterns, for example, retries with exponential backoff and jitter, dead letter queues, differences between synchronous and asynchronous patterns. Skills in creating fault-tolerant and resilient applications in a programming language, for example, Java, C#, Python, JavaScript, TypeScript, Go, creating, extending, and maintaining APIs, for example, response/request transformations, enforcing validation rules, overriding status codes, writing and running unit tests in development environments, for example, using AWS Serverless Application Model, AWS SAM, writing code to use messaging services, writing code that interacts with AWS services by using APIs and AWS SDKs, handling data streaming by using AWS services. Task 2, Develop code for AWS Lambda. Knowledge of event source mapping, stateless applications, unit testing, event-driven architecture, scalability, the access of private resources in VPCs from Lambda code. Skills in configuring Lambda functions by defining environment variables and parameters, for example, memory, concurrency, timeout, handling the event lifecycle and errors by using code, for example, Lambda destinations, dead letter queues, writing and running test code by using AWS services and tools, integrating Lambda functions with AWS services, tuning Lambda functions for optimal performance. Task 3. Use data stores in application development. Knowledge of relational and non-relational databases. Create, read, update, and delete CRUD operations. High cardinality partition keys for balanced partition access. Cloud storage options, for example, file, object, databases. Database consistency models, for example, strongly consistent, eventually consistent. Differences between query and scan operations. Amazon DynamoDB keys and indexing. Caching strategies, for example, write-through, read-through, lazy loading. TTL, Amazon Simple Storage Service, Amazon S3, tiers and lifecycle management. Differences between ephemeral and persistent data storage patterns. Skills in serializing and deserializing data to provide persistence to a data store. Using, managing, and maintaining data stores. Managing data lifecycles using data caching services. Content Domain 2, Security. Task 1. Implement authentication and/or authorization for applications and AWS services. Knowledge of identity federation, for example, security assertion markup language, SAML, OpenID Connect, OIDC, Amazon Cognito, bearer tokens, for example, JSON Web Token, JWT, OAuth, AWS Security Token Service, AWS STS, the comparison of user pools and identity pools in Amazon Cognito. Resource-based policies, service policies, and principal policies. Role-based access control, RBAC, application authorization that uses ACLs. The principle of least privilege. Differences between AWS managed policies and customer managed policies. Identity and access management. Skills in using an identity provider to implement federated access, for example, Amazon Cognito, AWS Identity and Access Management (IAM). Securing applications by using bearer tokens. Configuring programmatic access to AWS. Making authenticated calls to AWS services. Assuming an IAM role. Defining permissions for principals. Task 2. Implement encryption by using AWS services. Knowledge of encryption at rest and in transit. Certificate management, for example, AWS Private Certificate Authority. Key protection, for example, key rotation. Differences between client-side encryption and server-side encryption. Differences between AWS managed and customer managed. AWS Key Management Service, AWS KMS, keys. Skills in using encryption keys to encrypt or decrypt data. Generating certificates and SSH keys for development purposes. Using encryption across account boundaries. Enabling and disabling key rotation. Task 3. Manage sensitive data in application code. Knowledge of data classification, for example, personally identifiable information, PII, protected health information, PHI, environment variables. Secrets management, for example, AWS Secrets Manager, AWS Systems Manager. Parameter store, secure credential handling. Skills in encrypting environment variables that contain sensitive data. Using secret management services to secure sensitive data. Sanitizing sensitive data. Content Domain 3, Deployment. Task 1. Prepare application artifacts to be deployed to AWS. Knowledge of ways to access application configuration data, for example, AWS AppConfig, Secrets Manager, Parameter Store, Lambda deployment packaging, layers, and configuration options. Git-based version control tools, for example, Git, container images. Skills in managing the dependencies of the code module, for example, environment variables, configuration files, container images, within the package. Organizing files and a directory structure for application deployment. Using code repositories in deployment environments. Applying application requirements for resources, for example, memory, cores. Task 2. Test applications in development environments. Knowledge of features in AWS services that perform application deployment integration testing that uses mock endpoints, Lambda versions, and aliases. Skills in testing deployed code by using AWS services and tools. Performing mock integration for APIs and resolving integration dependencies. Testing applications by using development endpoints, for example, configuring stages in Amazon API Gateway. Deploying application stack updates to existing environments, for example, deploying an AWS SAM template to a different staging environment. Task 3. Automate deployment testing. Knowledge of API gateway stages, branches, and actions in the continuous integration and continuous delivery (CI/CD) workflow. Automated software testing, for example, unit testing, mock testing. Skills in
Okay,
creating application test events, for example.
that one we're just gonna leave it there. might want to send it to my chat GPT so I can, so it can kind of summarize for me, I believe. But right now, let's go to even this is done. We were at the official question. Let's do the question for today. Okay, so did I go to run it? No, no, so okay. Navigating. What is this about? Searching content. To search for keywords in this course, select magnifying glass. I already know this. Completing lesson. I know this. Let's go straight to the exam. Okay, certification exam prep official practice question set. Welcome. Official practice question set feature 20 questions developed by AWS to demonstrate the style of certification exam question. Take the question set to understand exam style question. Module 1. Become familiar with the user interface and key features of official practice. Set question set. Explore the question features and tools such as accessing detail. Well, guys, let's just go straight to the question, okay? Okay, launch. Okay, where is it? You will be redirected to Bench Prep website. What is Bench Prep? This uses web-based application from Bench Prep, third-party service provider for AWS certification exam prep, official practice exam, official practice question set, all those things. See more. Begin, start. It should be self-explanatory once you take me there. Where are the questions? This is not really important. I have taken quite a few exams by now, so I'm just gonna go straight. Okay. Where is it? Start. There you go, finally. Choose reset product in the pop-up box. Choose confirm. Oh no. Continue. Where is it? Where is the exam? Have mercy, Lord. Okay, it's after. استمع الرشام. Okay, come on, I don't need an instruction right now, guys. So we're just going to the exam. مجمرة exam. Okay, this is just to know what the exam looks like. Okay. Let's do this. Okay, perfect. Let us start, guys. Start. Oh, see more. Start. There you go. Finally, guys. Just wake up, guys. Wakey. Each time a developer publishes a new version of an AWS Lambda function, all the dependent event source mappings need to be updated with the reference to the new version's Amazon resource name, ARN. These updates are time-consuming and error-prone. What is it saying? Okay, question 1. Each time a developer publishes new version of AWS Lambda function, All the dependent event source mappings, what are those? Need to be updated with the reference to the new versions. Amazon resource name, ARN. These updates are time consuming and error prone. Which combination of actions should the developer take to avoid performing these updates when publishing new Lambda function? Something automating or something, let me see. Update event source mappings with the ARN of the Lambda layer. Point a Lambda alias to a new version of Lambda function. Create a Lambda alias or alias for each published version of the Lambda function. D. Point a Lambda alias to a new Lambda function alias. Update the event source mapping with the Lambda alias. What is this? I don't even understand the question there. Okay, I'm gonna ask my friend ChatGPT. What am I being asked? In simple terms and with analogy. Okay, every time you create a new version of Lambda function, you must manually update all event source mapping. SQS Lambda, oh no, Dynamo Streams Lambda. Oh, this is slow and easy. The question, how can you avoid updating event source mapping every time you publish new Lambda version? What two things should the developer do so that event sources always use new version automatically? AWS Lambda has aliases that act like pointers, okay, or nicknames, for example, prod, dev, live. If event sources point to the alias, not the version, never update them again. Okay. You just update the alias to point to new version. You are being asked, how do you avoid manually updating Lambda triggers every time you publish a new version? Answer is use a Lambda alias, point all event source mappings to that alias, then update the alias to the new version. Okay, alias, then. Okay, analogy, very simple pizza shop version. Imagine you run a pizza shop. Every time you get a new phone number, you tell all your customers the new number. This takes forever and many customers get the wrong number. Okay, solution. Create permanent phone number that never changes, alias, and forward it to your new temporary number, Lambda version. Customers always call the same number, no update needed. Simple AWS analogy, Lambda version, your new phone number, Lambda alias, your public business number. Event source mapping, customers calling you. Without alias, customers must learn your new number every time, which is bad. With alias, customer always use the same number, you just update the forwarding code. Okay, so alias. Well, how many are we choosing? 2. Wait, it can tell me what are the terms? What are the terms? Data statement analogy. ARN, what is ARN? Event source mapping is a connection between AWS service like SQS, Kinesis, DynamoDB streams, and Lambda function. Oh yeah, ARN, unique ID for every AWS resource. Home address for the chef. Alias, permanent pointer to the Lambda. Create Lambda alias for each published version of, no, point a Lambda alias to a new version of lambda function. Point a lambda alias to a new lambda function alias. Operate the event source mapping with the lambda alias. Yeah. Okay. Use a lambda alias, point all event source mapping to that alias, create alias to the new version. Okay, yeah, continue. Oh no, what? Did I get it or no? Yeah, I got it. Let's just continue, guys. Developer configures. I'm so sleepy, I don't know if we can continue. Developer configures AWS code deploy to install an application on Amazon EC2 instances in an Amazon EC2 auto-scaling group. What happened? Configure code deploy to install an application on Amazon EC2. Code deploy is gonna install app on EC2 in the auto-scaling group. Where should the developer place app space YAML file? Okay, the application. Is it in here in the instances? In the root of the directory structure of the application source code. Directly into code deploy console. In the app extension folder in the application source code. In the same Amazon necessary bucket as the application source code bundle. I don't know, guys. Let's check with our friend. Super smart friend. We got 2. Just gonna give it 2. Drink water. Drink your water, guys. You have my permission. Okay. In the root directory of application revision that you upload to code deploy. That means if your application is stored in S3, the zip file you upload must have appspec.yaml in the top level folder. If your application is coming from GitHub, it must be at the top level of the repo. If your application is coming from GitHub, what happens? It must be at the top level of the repo. Simple analogy. Think of a moving box, which is your deployment package. Code deploy opens the box and expects to see the instructions, which is appspec YAML, right on top. Okay. If the instructions are buried in a folder inside the box, code deploy won't find them. Final answer. Place appspec.yaml in the root of the application revision. In the root, top level of the bundle. In the root of directory structure of application source code. Okay, that's the one. Correct. To deploy an application on EC2 instances, the appspec YAML file must be placed in the root of the directory structure of an application source code. For more information about code deploy appspec.yaml file configuration when using EC2 instances, see code deploy appspec file reference. let's continue. Okay, code deploy instruction aspect.yaml የሚል instruction አለው እየተማርን ነው። so far ስለምንድን ነው የተማርነው? ምንድን ነበር አንደኛው ጥያቄ? Okay. A developer has አንደኛው ጥያቄ ምንድን ነው? አንደኛው ጥያቄ okay. Developer has written several custom applications that read and write to the same Amazon DynamoDB table. Each time the data in the DynamoDB table is modified, this change should be sent to an external API. Each time the data in the DynamoDB table is modified, this change should be sent to an external API. Which combination of steps should the developer perform to accomplish this task? ምንድነው የሚፈልገው? DynamoDB ላይ ሲጻፍ ወይም ሲነበብ ወደ ሌላ ቦታ መላክ አለበት። DynamoDB ላይ ያለው ለውጥ አውቶማቲካሊ ማን ነው የሚያደርገው? ይሄንን ነው። Enable DynamoDB streams on the table, configure an event in Amazon event bridge that publishes the change to an Amazon managed streaming for Apache Kafka, Amazon MSK data stream, create trigger in the DynamoDB table to publish the change to an Amazon Kinesis data stream, deliver the stream to an Amazon simple notification service topic, and subscribe the API to the topic, maybe this one too. Because what combination of steps should developer perform to accomplish sending change to external API? External API and order. Okay. External API corner. This is not external API. Deliver the stream to Amazon simple notification service. Okay, let me ask my friend. I'm so sleepy though. Okay. Let's see. You have DynamoDB table. Whenever any application writes or updates data, you want automatically send that change to an external API outside AWS. Question: what two things do you need to set up so DynamoDB automatically triggers process that calls the API? Triggers a process that calls API. Correct two steps Enable DynamoDB stream to the table. This captures every insert, update, and delete event. Create AWS Lambda function triggered by the DynamoDB stream. Okay, I'm so sleepy, guys. Have a good night. Bye-bye.